Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
It is the sacred episode. It is the most important one.
Yeah, we did it. You can make so many weed jokes.
There are a lot of celebrations today for folks.
Sure.
It is our 420th episode. It is Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
But that doesn't... I mean, I'm probably going to get a lot of spam emails from Chipotle today, which is not Mexican food. It is also the Met Gala is finally upon us.
This is true. Oh my gosh. Big week.
It's a big week in the neighborhood, folks. But most importantly of all, it is our 420th episode.
Yeah, in the order of importance, this is definitely numero uno. For sure.
Listen to this, support the arts in all forms. And I mean, I'm not ordering out right now because food is very expensive. However, if you have a local hookup with a local Mexican restaurant, support them.
Get in there. Absolutely.
When in doubt, that is always my go-to when ordering food.
Oh yeah.
How are you?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm alive.
Yeah.
I may have lured you into a false sense of security with this happy thing.
Oh, God.
Because...
they're called happy things.
Listen, and I know this. However, sometimes I like to take a happy thing and instead, reclaim my time and use that as to grandstand, to ledge a complaint, to use our power and influence to ask questions, right? To ask questions.
I mean, what is Into the Twilight if not asking questions? So that's okay. Go on.
Thank you. And this started with the happy thing, right? Because Nicole and I have been rewatching season 7 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
As you should. Which
is a great fucking piece of television. And it's wonderful. It's good. It's got all of our favorite people on it. People are doing a lot of discourse, whatever. I don't give a flying fuck, because Drag Race Twitter are full of
haters.
Wild people. Haters and losers. I don't love or respect, right?
I mean, they think we're too old to be on Drag Race.
Right. Yeah, we're geriatric compared to... It's like, okay, if you were not watching this season live, or not live, but torrenting next day, like I was in college, I don't care what you have to say, okay? This turned into not a happy thing because we were watching the finale last night.
Okay.
And something was weird. On Paramount Plus, might I add, this is important context.
Fuck them, by the way.
Right. They have a lot of other questions to answer to. I do have one specific one I will add to the pile if we are going here.
Paramount, come to the front.
Yeah, excuse me. Paramount, why are only 1 out of the 3 final lip sync performances and interviews in the show that is streaming on Paramount Plus?
Hey,
Why did I have to go to youtube.com
no.
to look up the performances from not just Pearl, but the winner of the season, Violet Chachki?
No.
Because they were couldn't. Not in the episode.
Where Paramount, who owns them, live.
They have all of the Drag Race, right? And Drag Race is historically the hardest show to find ever online.
Correct.
But now it's all in one place. It's Paramount. And that's fine. I live with that, okay? So why? We see Ginger Minch do her little song, and I'm like, great. That's 1 out of 3. And then it talks to all the other queens, and then it's like, hey, we're going to crown the winner. It's like, excuse me, what? We can't finish this episode because we missed very important context here for this season.
Oh my
What do you mean? Be so for real. I want to see Violet in her tiny little corset or whatever do her little dance because she wins the fucking season. I want to see why, right? I want to see that, right? And so I'm Googling, right? Because I'm like, this is crazy. What do you mean?
Yeah, someone on Reddit has to have the answer, right?
Oh, people are on Reddit. Do they have answers? Zero. No answers.
But they have questions.
Yeah, they have questions. This has been a documented problem on the internet for 5 years.
No, stop.
And this started, the first post I found about this was from 5 years ago on the Drag Race subreddit. And this is when it wasn't even Paramount, it was CBS All Access. That's how far this goes back.
Is it a personal vendetta against Violet? Or is
right, that's what...
Or is it Paramount, like, America has a problem? You know what I mean? Right.
Like, there's so many ways it can go. Like, even when I was talking to Nicole about it, she was like, well, you know, it seems like Violet doesn't really have the greatest relationship with Drag Race now. Like, she was just like, pull me out, right? There's so many options. And, like, people are like, oh, is it a copyright thing? Like, music licensing? And it's like, no. The same people who fucking composed the music for Ginger's thing would have been the same for the other two. So why is it one out of three the only one here? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
What in God's name?
I know Paramount has a lot of other bigger things to answer to. I know this.
But also, add this to the list.
However, like, this is kind of an easy one. The full file is there. Like, I could buy the episode, right? And that's fine. I don't want to do that because I have Paramount. And I could just watch it on Paramount.
I would argue this is one of the easiest wins that they could make.
Yeah. And this has been a thing that people have been complaining about for 5 years.
Oh,
and it's still missing 2/3 of the episodes, or at least the performances and interviews. And the interviews are not on YouTube, it's just the performances. So you don't really get to see the little ha-cha-cha talk back. Not that they're very long, but still, that's part of the finale. I want to see it.
Okay, hear me out, audience.
Yes.
If you want, we can take I don't know how much Violet Chassie's cameos are. I don't know why I assumed it was $5. I apologize. We will take some of our Patreon money and we will commission a cameo from Violet Chachki to try and understand what this is. Because I need to know from the source what is happening.
Yeah.
It would be hard not to take this personally.
Especially if you won.
If you won, right? That would be like, oh, actually, we're going to take out all of Jinx and Bianca's Snatch Games.
Right.
And go fuck
What
yourself.
Is the reason? Yeah.
And not even like, these are the free things that we have on our Paramount YouTube channel. You can go watch the full episode on Paramount. No, you're in it. You are hacked into the fucking Matrix right now.
You have everything you need.
Now I'm pissed.
Yeah, and I want everyone to be radicalized. I want everyone to be fucking moving the streets. Altogether, this is a happy thing because season 7 is a great fucking season. And we had a great time watching it. But the fucking hula hoops to watch the final episode and have it make sense.
Homophobic.
Because just watching it, if you were just watching it for the first time on Paramount, you'd have no fucking clue what's going on.
You would miss essential lore.
You'd miss everything.
That changed finales for forever, actually.
It was so bananas. I literally thought I was losing my mind watching it because I was like, wow, we had one performance and we're like 2/3 of the way done with this episode.
They fucking gaslit you. I'm so done. And don't get me wrong, like, I love Ginger Minge down, but are you kidding me?
It's just, like, I love a universe in which it's just, like, Ginger did so good, and, like, they're like, we just wanted, like, Paramount just pro Ginger, and being like, yes, like, just show her performance, she fucking shined, doing her little church song, wherever the fuck. And then we don't need to see anyone else. And they crown someone completely different, but...
Long con, Ginger got one of her friends hired into Paramount, hacked in, changed the course of history 5 years ago.
Honestly. And that would be a serve. Great. That would be a serve. So this is my truth. Less of a happy thing, more of a rant. More of a seek for truth. A thirst for knowledge. Thirst for understanding.
Listen. Just because we watch RuPaul's Drag Race for comfort doesn't mean that we enjoy it.
Sure.
It's a happy thing, but it's also, we do it to suffer sometimes.
There's layers, yeah, for sure. There's the whole breadth of human experience in there, for sure. How are you doing, my friend? I am very charmed and bewitched by the image you brought today.
Okay, listen, all right.
I say that with the most sincerity. I truly believe that.
My thing this week is something that's really basic, okay?
Yeah.
But it brought me a lot of joy, and it felt inappropriate to not talk about it. So, my happy thing is a deli sandwich, like cold cut deli sandwiches that you make at home and that you put chips on it. Now, let me back up. So I haven't had a fucking basic ass, soft bread, turkey sandwich with chips. The last time that I had it, I'm thinking non-aesthetic, right? I'm thinking like something that you packed in middle school kind of thing. I don't make those for myself. I can't. The last time that I have had that to my knowledge was high school, I think.
Sure.
But when I was doing my grocery shopping last week, my grocery store had just a ridiculous sale on these. And I was like, you know what? That kind of sounds good. And when I was growing up, those kind of sandwiches, because we weren't rolling in dough. Those, when I was growing up, we had bologna. Like we were dirt cheap. And I can't do that anymore. I know my body. I can't.
Right. So, I can't process that shit anymore.
There's no way. But so and it was a sale on like the base. I'm talking something you wouldn't put on Instagram, right? I'm talking like basic ass white bread. I'm talking deli meat, not the stuff you get at the deli part. I'm talking just it's in the little zip bag stuff and sliced cheese. Yeah. Right? Sure. Not your fucking avocado toast. I'm just talking basic. And when I put that together, my instinct was to even put it in a Ziploc bag because it was so muscle memory, right? Of like, I'm going to take this for lunch, right?
Yeah. I'm going to the beach.
I'm going to the beach. No, exactly, right? And then when you put the chips on it, it was so satisfying in a way that was incredibly nostalgic and very basic. And it just hits. It just is very comforting. Yeah. It's simple, and I just haven't had it in a really long time, and it made me very happy.
I love that.
Okay, sue me.
First of all, sue me. Come on. How dare I embrace a little joy and heal in the inner child by having a nostalgic sandwich?
Yeah.
Nothing better than that. The vibes like irradiating from this photo alone are making me incredibly hungry for a sandwich. But also, that particular kind of just like, give me chip, give me whatever fucking meat in there and cheese, call it a fucking day.
Yeah, something that's like, I mean, I've always used a knife for it, but like that kind of meal is something that's very kid coded because you don't need silverware to make it. You can do it literally within the commercial of television. Yeah. It's so quick to do. And something about that is very nostalgic to me that I appreciate. And one thing that I have not had in a long time and made me remember, like, damn, remember when meals didn't take long? Like they weren't so complicated?
Yeah. How far we've strayed from the Rachel Ray method,
Literally. I mean, don't even get me started on her with her garbage bowl and carrying stuff all in one load. I grew up with Rachel and use her methods all the time. But it's simple and I appreciate it. Yeah. And especially as it's been a little bit nicer here, that's just a very quick meal when it's a little bit warmer and you don't necessarily want to warm up the house when you're cooking.
Hell yes.
And I appreciate
love
that.
This.
So thank you to my grocery store for having just a ridiculous sale that I couldn't pass up.
Hell yeah. I love this.
We don't have any current events this week, so don't worry about it.
Nothing's happening. It's fine.
Nothing's happening. It's fine. Cody, I'm so fucking over this show.
Yeah. And
I cry every week.
Last week, we were
channeling Elena's denial. I'll tell you what.
Right, we were refusing to believe for sure. We were like, no way, right? No way, and shame on us. Egg on our face, right?
Fuck my drag, you know what I mean?
They fucking did it. They got our boy.
Y'all, I'm still... The amount of times I've cried in this show is... I'm pissed. If I ever meet any of y'all, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Because
it's on site.
I'm just... Y'all were like, oh, just watch the Vampire Diaries. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be great. All I've done is suffer watching the show. And I don't what is your sick enjoyment? All I thought was like, oh, we're gonna be able to make fun of this and it's gonna be great. And then the person that I clocked the first episode,
who you cursed,
who I said wasn't gonna survive, and then I've become emotionally attached to, I had to watch go up in flames this episode. And I swear to God, if he's not fine, I'm so done. What do you mean? What do you mean, actually, that... what do you mean that the last person Elena had went up in flames in her childhood home? And you want me to be fine with the show?
It's so nasty. And, like, first of all, Nina Dobrev does some incredible work here. She is, like, rent was way past due, and she fucking locked the fuck in here. And did great. But, like, it's so nasty the way... It's, like, obviously her whole thing is, like, everyone she loves gets taken away from her in some shape or form. And that's, like, her eternal curse, right? It fucking sucks.
Correct.
But I think also, not that we've become numb to it, but just because that is so central to her character, it feels wild to kind of, like, have that be cemented again in, like, a new way, right? Of her even just saying, like, there's no other plots left in the Gilbert family. Like, all of everyone who has died in the last, like, 4 years have taken up literally all the spots. Like, oof, ouch, you know? Oh my god, this is a teenager who has, like, seen so many of her closest people die within very quick succession of each other. And it's like, goddamn, fuck my drag. Ouch.
I 100% agree with you. This is definitely the Nina Dobrev show, and everyone else is just here. Obviously, that's not true. Everyone shut up. That's not true. But it's just episodes like this really remind me that she has played so many different characters in this show so far. And is by the end of this episode, we see that she's going to be playing another iteration of herself. That monologue at the end, where she before she literally switches her humanity off, killed me so bad. Where, first of all, hey girl, why is lighter fluid in your kitchen, by the way?
Such easy access. I was like, okay, of
all places, that should not be in your kitchen, but I digress. Her yelling this in front of everyone, saying that, and John of all fucking people to take one of the last plots. I was like, don't even remind me of this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But it's just the completely valid. She is losing it in this moment of everyone is gone. It doesn't matter. I can't be in this house anymore because this is now just a building. It has no resonance because I'm alone here. And I'm supposed to be incredibly emotional in this moment, and I am. What took me out in two different parts of the last, like, 10 minutes is her referencing the Xbox once, and then when the fire happens, they pan over to the Xbox controller.
Like, is this how he's gonna be remembered, you guys? Just as a gamer? Is that what you want?
We get that's not true. We get 3 different aspects of Jeremy's character this episode. 1, gamer boy. Second, we do get a brief part of the sketches. And then third, Matt takes us to Stoner Alley. And it's like, Jeremy is so much more of a complex character than that. But it's like, this is it? This is what you've decided to memorialize Jeremy with? All right, great. It's just a fucking Xbox that I was like, y'all.
We didn't need to do all that.
We didn't. We did not. But it was the callous way that she is throwing this lighter fluid around.
Yeah.
And even on Jeremy's body that I was like, dude, oh no.
Yeah.
And I don't blame her, right? Because what else are you gonna, and I think we even talked about this last week of like, she's gonna snap. If Jeremy doesn't come back, this is the only thing that's really tethering her to, because she's not human, right? She's a vampire, but like Jeremy is the only thing that is tethering her to her humanity. And now that he is gone, even though Damon is the one who says it for her to turn it off, it felt like a natural progression for her to lose that humanity because Jeremy isn't there anymore to anchor her. And Damon, hey babe, I get it. This is also how I process things. I'm working on it in therapy. But the first thing, when Stefan says to you, help her, the first thing that your brain goes to is just turn it off. Just don't. Damon?
How about you just don't feel anything? What if I told you you could just eternal sunshine like your mind, and it'll be great. You'll feel so good.
What in the fucking Elsa, Damon? When has conceal don't feel worked out in the long term?
Yeah, like you are kind of the textbook.
Literally.
And
I would argue your
shade.
brother actually.
Yeah, right. You've kind of witnessed this.
Damon's gotten a little bit better about some sort of balance, but your brother is the fucking walking example of conceal don't feel does not work, my guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I do love, though, that, like, Stefan kind of was like, hey, man, what the fuck was that? Right? Like, because they're having this little conversation outside. Because Elena's still, like, you know, processing. Not really well.
Just looking at this photo like, oh, anyway.
Yeah, right, anyway. And he was like, man, I get why you did that, but also why? Like, that's not really the great headspace. You know,
I said help her.
It's not really going
What the
great.
fuck?
Yeah, like actual help, not like shut your entire feelings and brain off. And Damon's like, listen, she had nothing else. What was I supposed to do? And Stefan's like, she had you. How about you? Like, are you guys in love or not? Like, fucking do something. And then Damon hits him with the, you know, she lost Jeremy, and that's too much. Like, I'm not enough even for that. Like, at least not now. It's like, brother, I see you, but also, no.
This was your last resort?
This was, yeah, what? Come on.
You didn't have any other backup plans?
Yeah. Yeah, what was the, like, emergency break glass in case Jeremy dies? Because given the death rate in your friend group, that feels, like, statistically high, you know?
Yeah.
There was nothing. You had nothing. Great.
It just... Him... That moment where he's looking at her, where he's like, I want you to let me help you. Sick, Damon. Don't piss me off. Because how many times has someone tried to do that to you? So you're one to talk. But it was just him saying, like, after he says turn it off, him just saying, like, it's what I want you to do. And I can't.
Yep. I hate it.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm not okay with this. Even just the brief moment that we get in those last few minutes, Nina's mannerisms completely shifted.
Totally. Yeah. Posture up all the way. She's like, I am robot. Hello.
It was completely robotic. It looked like she was acting with like a dowel attached to her back in a complimentary way. It was just so stiff, and it was really scary to watch in a way that it was clearly not the Elena that we have been accustomed to. And I am very curious to see this progression. There have been a couple of areas of the show where I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I'm not sure. This one feels natural to me, because even if Damon wasn't going to do it, I was like, well, she was going to freak out anyway. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I am still personally in denial. I would like Jeremy to not stay dead forever. Just because I like him.
I need baby boy.
Yeah.
I need him back.
And I enjoy the way that he complicates this dynamic. So I'm still holding out hope for that, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's brave and true.
Even though I know that it is not likely.
And it's so interesting to see this, because we've obviously seen this crew deal with grief in many different ways, and even in very close directions. But like, this is such a different weight for everyone, right? You can really see how, like, obviously Elena, but like everyone else has like some sort of profound intimacy or relationship with Jeremy. And like, you know, even Caroline, who's like the funeral planning god out here, trying to just make calls and get to business, is like, fuck, I don't know what to do, kind of things. Or like, and she does have a great line reading where she's like, I'll make some plans, or a casserole. I don't know what people do in this situation. I'm fucking sad and scared. It's just like, god damn. Yeah, like all the ripple effects are like much more pronounced here, even though we've seen them do like a death procession many times, right? But having it, and even allowing the space for, even though like Jeremy's body is literally decomposing and there's like no turning back as far as it seems right now, like letting Elena kind of live in that possibility for a while. And she's right, like it makes sense to burn the house down because he has been rotting for like days now. And like you can't really have a cover story of like, oh, this teenager has been dead for like 72 hours, it looks like. That's tough. What do we do about that? But like, at least having her in that space of being like, maybe, you know, the tattoo's gone, so maybe something's different, or like maybe he's not supernatural anymore, so the ring did work, ? Like Rick died like 4 or 5 times before he went nuts, you know? Everything's possible. Is so sick and twisted.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because the way that the grief portrayed killed me. Yeah. I think that Caroline's was the most personally relatable.
Yeah. Get busy, stay busy, keep it moving, you know?
Right, because if you don't stop, then you won't be able to feel it. So very relatable there. I think that, to your point though, Jeremy has been around for so long that all of them have a personal connection. So to even see Stefan having a reaction was not surprising, but I think was interesting that he was able to be vulnerable enough for that. I think that the denial that Elena was having, even though she's like, it's not denial.
Don't worry, guys, I'm good. I'm so good.
I think that she was trying to intellectualize what was going on, and to her point, like, the tattoos were gone. Right. It has taken a while, and sometimes where Rick did come back. So I think that when you are dealing with and I think she says this when she almost hurts Meredith, like, there is no science here. This has all just been like supernatural magic. So I think when you haven't had that finality before, it is hard to smell your brother decomposing.
Right.
Because it had been there, but she didn't let it click until near the end of the episode.
Like, when everyone dies or comes back to life so many times, like, what actually is a final death, right? Like, what is a cemented, like, yes, right? Because they're really operating off of not a lot of information and just being like, well, when people die, are they really, you know? And it's like, oh, God, fuck.
And it makes sense that because it's even happened to her,
right?
Why would you assume when you've watched your brother die, when you've killed your brother, right, that it would be final this time? And that sucks. I think that I was not expecting to get as emotional as I did when I saw Matt see him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I thought
that was brutal.
I thought the actor did a really good job in that moment. And it, oh, God. And when they brought up the Vicky at the stoner moment.
Oh, gosh.
He was like, maybe you should have hope. And I was like, girl, if you don't shut up, don't give Elena that. Just because your sister came back as a sick ghost does not mean that will happen for Jeremy. Yeah. Don't say that. But it was wild to see. And I know this wasn't actually what was happening in this moment, but the way that Bonnie processed the grief in the moment, and again, this wasn't real. This was a hallucination for Silas, but it making her magic enhance in that moment, I thought was also very true to her character.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting there to be so many of the people still on the island for a good portion of the episode. It was both scary, but also there were some funny moments that I was not expecting. Damon and Rebecca.
When he's like out there and hears some rustling, and he's like, unless you're a blonde, a Bennett witch, or a doppelganger, you better move along. Get out of here.
He's so done.
He's like, I've had it up to here. With randos, with different people. I'm sick of it.
He's like, I don't even like camping to begin with. I'm so fucking done with this place. It's raining. Yuck. I'm pissed.
We couldn't even do s'mores. Like, what's the fucking point anymore? Fucking damn it.
But them getting to have that little duo moment. I think there was even a moment where he looked at Rebecca and was like, you're creepy. And she's like, yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I've been working really hard on that.
It was wild to be able to see them interact with each other. And also that motherfucking Galen, I still keep calling him Dimitri in my mind, was there.
Fair. Your mind's eye.
The one piece of lore that we got this episode, because Catherine's fucking gone, right? She's got the cure and she's gone. The piece of lore that we got this episode that I wrote down, Damon seemed to skip over this because he's busy, I guess. But I'm curious about your thoughts. We found out Catherine was in Colorado. Now, they didn't say where, but we know if it was somewhat recently, that is where both Cole and Jeremy were. Was in that state. And I would be shocked if those were not related.
Yeah.
So
like,
Damon,
it just feels so...
that.
Yeah, this is important context. Also, like, we learned that the, Haley, the, like, werewolf girl, whatever, like, somehow, like, got, Catherine got her fucking number and was like, hey, tell me the plan, what's going on. So, like, what is who are the moles, right? Like, what? Like, how is Catherine getting all this intel when it is very dangerous for Catherine to have any intel? And why the fuck was she in Colorado around similar times as our boy? That seems relevant.
Yeah.
That seems confusing.
Because Haley was working with Shane and Cole was working with Shane.
Right.
So I would be shocked if those were not connected.
Right.
They just skipped over it, and I'm not over that yet, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I felt immediately when we saw Shane, quote, that was Silas.
Yeah.
Because
That
there
was
was
some nasty face work there. It was looking real scary.
that actor was on one this episode,
Yeah.
complimentary.
Oh, yeah.
But I just felt in my soul that there was no way that Shane, with his broken leg, was going to be able to get out of that well.
Yeah.
Like, logically.
Right. And we know, historically, Shane is very, receptive to manipulation.
Oh, yeah. He is very
being
open.
sort of a vessel for higher powers and feelings and beings. Like,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he, that man would love a Ouija board. I'll say that.
Right.
He would definitely be the kind of person that would have, like, a mat by his door that says welcome. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
this motherfucker. But I got a feeling when I saw him talking with Bonnie that I was like, something about this guy does not feel right.
Mm-hmm.
And then that hallucination happened, and I was like, okay, got it. Like,
right. Oh, okay.
All
I
right,
see
got
what we're
it.
doing here.
Cool. And then when Rebecca brought Galen down to the well, I keep wanting to call it a pit because it is, but it's the well.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker said, no one knows his face. I was like, all right, well.
Interesting.
Suspicious. So that was a faceplate that we saw. That wasn't a skeleton. Cool. Creepy. Scary. All right. Great. So Shane, again, quotes, is just,
Quote, unquote.
grabbing onto Bonnie being like, so, no, it's okay. No, it'll be great. We just need to do one more massacre. And she's like, what? What the fuck?
Just trust me, okay? It's just 12 more innocent people.
Bonnie,
And
you can kill
then-
12 people.
And then the fabric of our natural world will totally be different, right? Because, like, too, it makes, I guess, more sense, but it is wild of, like, because Shane's whole thing was being like, oh, you get to, like, I get to see my wife, you get to see your grandma, like, we can all see the people we've lost, we can get Jeremy back, right? And obviously it can't be just like a one-to-one, like, okay, the dead are back to life, but that means, like, all of them, or, like, every supernatural creature,
Right.
past and present, can just, like, coexist. Like, that's a very different thing you're offering here, my guy. What?
And also, that means that, because we got a reminder, at least I did anyways, I got a reminder that April exists at the end of this episode.
True, yeah, April is still here,
and
yeah, for sure.
There's been this promise that Shane, who's not in this episode, just more as a vessel, it's been Silas who's been talking, but like, there's been this promise that, like, your loved ones are going to be able to come back. But not everyone's loved ones, Silas, are supernatural. So, like, April's dad isn't going to come back. April's dad...
Like, you can't make that promise.
April's dad was a dick and a pastor, but not supernatural. So you can't... You're just saying that to manipulate people because that's what Silas does, but not everyone's loved ones were supernatural. Okay, great.
Yeah, like a reasonable assumption to make given the landscape of these friend groups, but no, dog. Some people are human, surprisingly, believe it or not.
Shockingly, yeah. And Bonnie, because again, she's being manipulated right now, is saying this, drop the veil. And thankfully, when they get back, Caroline is like, girl, you were under spells.
Hey, you're scaring me. What's going on, girlie?
And I appreciate Caroline for that, because she's yelling at Bonnie, being like, what? No.
Yeah. Bonnie right now is like, no, guys, you don't understand. Like, you're your own boss, but, like, you have people under you,
no,
and it, like,
literally.
trickles down. So, like, you'll get you'll have to like do a lot up front, but then you'll like get everything trickle down, and it's gonna totally be good, and we'll all be our own bosses, and it's gonna be great. And Caroline's like, get stop out of it. Stop it.
No, it was a for real MLM, but just murder on there.
Yeah, murder LM.
Yes, exactly.
Multi-level murder.
No. Exactly. I will say I'm very proud of Damon for actually opening up his fucking third eye and paying attention.
Yeah, for once.
Though it did take it took him, probably a 4-hour flight, because he was he finally talks to Stefan and is like, Bonnie would not shut the fuck up this whole flight home about this multi-level murder scheme, and how it's going to be fine. We just need to kill 12 more people, and then everyone will come back. And one, you know how I feel about Bonnie. I can't fucking stand her. And also, she keeps talking about drop the veil, and I don't know what that means, but it sounds kind of sexual. And Stefan's like, okay, what? So
it's so nuts.
So it's not necessarily him being observant so much as it just took him 4 hours of straight talking.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just annoyed. I'm annoyed at everything.
Locked into a timeshare presentation for 4 hours. He was like, oh, something's weird. Got it. Cool. Yikes.
God damn.
I will say, because we never really got much of a follow-up after her parents attempted that intervention on her. A part of me was hoping that we would see Bonnie walk back into her house and her parents would still be there and be like, so, I know it's been like 4 days, but can we continue that conversation or what's up?
I don't know if this is a good time. We're like, we're taking at your pace, whatever you're comfortable with, but it has been a bit of time.
Right.
I just want to make sure we got all that under control.
Yeah.
In
case you weren't aware, because again, this show sometimes doesn't really trust its audience, they did need to make it explicitly clear when Bonnie was walking up to get the key to her house that it was not Shane. It was Silas, who's just a hallucination in Bonnie's mind. So, okay, thank you. Got it. I did think that Rebecca was going to accidentally kick Shane's body back on that island, just because it seemed like an instinct of like, oh my god, don't touch me, ew.
Right, ew, gross. Yeah, just like the disgust in her face, being like, ugh, this fucking guy.
It was so bad. I forgot to tell you. How did you feel about the fact that one of the trending TikTok audios was in this episode?
Oh, and my God.
It was from when Elena is losing it. The fact that is from the context of her crying about her family and that she's the only surviving member. Why was that pulled out and people were using that audio? Nasty word.
It's so sick and twisted.
Y'all are sick and nasty, and I don't understand it.
People. Oh God.
I hate it. I don't understand y'all. And now anytime I hear that again, I'm just gonna think about her spreading lighter fluid over her brother, and I am uncomfortable with that. My question for you is where does this go from here? Because I know we're near the end of this, like, last stretch of this season.
Right.
So what are you thinking?
I don't it feels like we're in the last stretch, but there also is so much more episode wise of being like, what? Because obviously we need like another big bad, but is it like, are we gonna do Resurrection Part 3, the squeakquel or whatever? Like, what is gonna happen here? Because I'm scared. Is Elena gonna just be like, totally blank face for the next like 3 episodes? Like, what is happening? What's going on here?
I agree. I feel like
Elena
that...
didn't want any of this, and now she's in this situation again. Goddamn.
That needs to be tied up. I think that Caroline, Tyler, Klaus probably needs a little bit more resolution.
Yeah.
Bonnie...
Tyler just being sent to or just sending Caroline to voicemail because he's again on the run, perhaps dead. But like,
yeah,
but it's not great when Caroline's just trying to grieve and process. I mean, like, hey, bud, the one guy I like, kind of, can you please confirm that you are alive so I can tell you that our friend is dead? Thank you.
True. I think that there's a couple of Bonnie plots. There's her dad being interim mayor. Then there's Bonnie being super witch TM.
Yeah.
That's happening. There's the Sire Bond. Yeah. There's Jeremy ? There's Rick Ghost. Or maybe we're just pretending that isn't there anymore. There's
Damon needs his just like ghost drinking buddy back for like a second, you know. I just
because Elena mentioned that this episode, just as a quick minute on there. There's Catherine Cure because she's on the run again. There's in general the hunters because Galen we know of, but then presumably because Jeremy is right now dead, then there's a new hunter that will exist. ?
Yeah.
And there's probably more that I'm not thinking of right now. But that's 8.
God. That's a lot.
That's 8 in presumably a 22 episode season.
Yeah. Oh, brother.
Yeah. And I would imagine that because this is their senior year, at some point we're going to get to college. And that's probably not on the forefront of Elena's mind right now. So where's that going to go?
Right. Has Elena taken her SATs?
Doubtful. Because I would love that. But I would love to see it, and I would love to know her scores on there, actually.
Yeah.
Here's my question for you, though. Next week's episode it doesn't seem to be following any of those 8 plot lines that we just mentioned.
No.
Listen, we
need another school dance. Our nation is dying. We need more.
I guess honorary 9th is this like Elena and love. That's not really the front burner for me, but I know that it's important for these writers.
Like I would perhaps think there are other things higher priority to focus on, but
like her properties, her investments, things like that. Because I would assume, I know we were just talking about her finances, I would assume that she's going to be getting some property insurance money from this.
Yeah.
But who's to say? This next week's episode is titled Bring It On, and Miss Ma'am is in a cheerleading outfit.
What I would love so bad is if they were like, fuck it. Fuck all of the other plots right now. We need to do a shot-by-shot remake. Thematically, bottle episode that is just to Bring It On parody. And address nothing. Address none of the things that are currently going on.
Yeah. Does No Humanity Elena decide that this is what she needs right now? Is to add some extracurriculars to pad her resume.
Right. She's like, I need something. Because I haven't been doing jack shit. And it's not looking great.
I would love it. I would love nothing more, actually.
Yeah. Goodness.
See how Elena has great... No Humanity Elena has great posture. Stefan, just a turtle. I can't with this man.
Yeah.
Always
that'd be
looking
so
like
sick
he's
and
trying
nasty.
to fit into a fucking door frame.
Yeah, this screenshot is so Riverdale coded, honestly. But like, it would be so sick and nasty if like as soon as Elena turns her humanity off and everything, Stefan's like, wait, that's actually like really hot. Can we light this flame back up again?
Can you hear my
You're way
eyes
cooler
rolling
when you don't care.
to the back of my fucking skull. What if
Fucking
they
sicko.
finally do a musical episode like Riverdale?
Ugh, I
Can you
need
imagine?
it. I need it really bad.
I mean, they are CW, so maybe.
Right. Anything's possible, if you
I-
believe.
That's true. I am so curious. I have so many questions and none of them are going to be answered. We have some amazing patrons to thank. Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Greg Lautner.
Ooh, thank you to April Dobrev.
Pew. Thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ooh, thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ow, ow. Thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh, thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh. Thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ooh, thank you to Janae Bennett.
Ow. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ow. Thank you to Emily Ozera.
Ooh, and last, but certainly not least, thank you to Jaylene Ivashkov.
Pew, pew, pew.
I have a fan fiction for you. This is by the author Cypress Sun, and it is titled Hold On To Me Tightly, I'm a Sliding Scale. It was written in 2013. The summary is, what's one more dead body? This is Mystic Falls, after all. And the notes are, takes place immediately after this episode, which is episode 15.
Cool. Awesome.
Right.
Great.
It's all one chapter. Elena got the call on her cell phone. The fire, our condolences, ma'am, but we've identified your loved one's remains. To expect calls from the police, to inform her insurers, and, again, our apologies, but nothing could be salvaged. The last bit seems comical, and the corner of her mouth quirks up when she snaps her phone shut. What is it? Damon asks. His cold blues haven't moved from her since they set foot in the boarding house. He's waiting for something and, frankly, boring her. Nothing was salvaged, Elena repeats, unmistakably proud. Damon tilts his head and raises an eyebrow. And that's good? Elena rolls her eyes and hops onto a leather lounge chair in the boarding house den. With her eyes closed, she stretches out in a satisfying arch. Her smile grows, and she thinks of how nice it is to have nowhere in particular to be just then. She feels so very content, and not at all like explaining to Damon how good it is to know it's all gone. The photo albums, the letters, the bed frames, the antiques, the hand-me-downs, and most of all, the journals. Every dream and every lie reduced to smoke and dust. Very good. End scene.
God. I love arson.
I
As a means for grieving your brother.
Elena, this sap of a woman, just the personification of the tearful emoji turning into stone face is something I'm very curious to see what Nina Dobrev does.
Yeah.
It's going to be painful for me, but I'm very curious to see her just turn it up on there.
Wow.
Well, friends, fight Paramount as usual. Send your complaints and enjoy a crunchy sandwich.
Yeah, get a nice chip-filled sandwich.
Yeah, man.
Treat yourselves.
Yeah, beach or not, just make it. Life's a beach, right? Isn't that what tourist stickers say?
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you exude beach, then you're following the rules.
I mean, we're so close to island time that it's appropriate, right? If we're not exuding island time on the episode of 420, then what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That and multi-level murder scheme, I think, is both appropriate. Friends, thank you. Tell your friends about the show. And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
ooh.
Ow.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.